Okay, and we've got game number 2 here between DNKE Donkey Kong and TZP Tang Zang Pang. I think TZP has a new player down here in Swiddlemelon, which I'm pretty sure is not actually Swindle Melons, but could be, I guess. It would be a little interesting. But, of course, game 1 going to DNKE, as it was a 16-minute game, and Tang Zang Pang apparently feeling like they just didn't want to keep playing because, I don't know, they were certainly down, and by quite a bit, but it was not unrecoverable. They had some late game on their side, and they certainly could have come back. So I don't understand why they decided, 16 minutes into this game, we're absolutely completely done. They lost the team fight at bottom really hard. They got genocided and didn't take a single hero on the opposing side, and they lost bot tower, and then they pretty much decided this game's over. And seemed a little premature to me, but they clearly did not feel the same, and that will bring us into game 2, where they now look to go grab a win so they can avoid getting knocked down to the loser's bracket. And of course, in the second stage of the playoffs of the groups for the HoN Tour Season 2, obviously you want to come out with the high seed in these groups, and if they lose a game here, they will not be able to do that, and they face the prospect of being absolutely and totally eliminated. Bans here are Engineer, Rhapsody, Moon Queen, and Master of Arms, so heavy on the supports, with 3 supports getting banned out in this initial stage. Master first ban, very surprising. Engineer, or initial ban, we haven't seen that in a long time. Rhapsody, I think, is a little more acceptable, just because I think she is the strongest support in the game right now, but still probably not worth an initial ban, in my opinion. Moon Queen, in a sort of similar situation, probably one of the hardest carries. I think I'd put her right below that Gemini, just because Gemini's so goddamn broken. And so certainly fine to ban there, no question, but I'm not really sure if it's worth the initial ban. We'll see, though. Picks over here on the Legion side, Pestilence and Grinix, 2 heroes that very often get banned out, and both of them will be instead picked up by Tang Zang Pang, as they are extremely annoying for other teams to deal with. Of course, Pestilence, one of the best initiators in the game. Once he gets that portal key, he is extremely powerful. Puts that bugs up onto people, and actually that'll help Grinix a lot too, because he does plenty of physical damage. So Legion side perhaps looking to stack the physical on top of Pestilence, his bugs, and his strong initiation with that stun. And of course Grinix almost certainly going to be played in that suicide role, as Pesty does tend to go middle. So we'll likely see that situation going out here. Rhapsody is banned out, of course, as we talked about, so that Rhapsody Pesty lane, which is very, very powerful, isn't quite going to happen here. But there are plenty of other very strong Pestilence lanes. You basically put him with a stunner, and maybe even somebody with a second nuke like Pyromancer or Torturer. Though Torturer was already picked here, and he can do plenty. Glacius is an option. Witch Layer with both of his lockdowns, certainly a strong candidate. I actually like Voodoo Jester quite a lot, because you can initiate with the cask, then put the curse and the stun and a few auto attacks, and that very often ends up with a dead opposing hero. Just ran that in a game recently myself with a friend, and we pretty much crushed our top lane. 45 minutes as a support Voodoo, doing pretty much all the warding. I ended up with a Genjuro and a Staff of the Master and like 370 gold per minute. It was pretty hilarious. Parasite gonna be last pick over here, as of course none of the junglers have been banned out so far, so TZP choosing to take advantage of that. They did their own Parasite last game. Wasn't very effective actually in the jungle. Did not farm very well, didn't gank a lot. So we'll like to see a little more effectiveness from that hero this game, especially as, okay, that's interesting, but especially as they chose the Parasite over more popular jungle and better, really, I think, jungle options, Ophelia, Tempest, and Keeper of the Forest. Parasite's a good hero, and he fits well with this lineup because Grinix and Parasite can combo well, and Pestilence can, for that matter, as well. So there's a lot of burst damage coming out between those heroes, but Ophelia gets banned out a lot for a reason. I think she's extremely powerful. I think she's just perhaps a little above that Tempest. They both push really well. Ophelia ganks a lot better, and she perhaps scales better as well, because that Tempest ultimate almost always gets cancelled very frequently. So that's a huge thing for Tempest. That's really the reason why one of the reasons why he's so often picked and banned. So choosing Parasite over all three of those heroes, I think, a little questionable. I don't think he brings quite as much to the table as the rest of them do, and he certainly doesn't scale as well as the rest of them do. Um, so not really on board with the Parasite pick, but I'm very much on board with the Jungler. And that's certainly going to give TZP an advantage over DNKE, perhaps not the laning phase, but as the game progresses, they should be able to take advantage of that, having the 4 farmers instead of just the 3. And of course, Parasite very, very strong at keeping the opponent's heroes down. And another issue, I guess, with Parasite in this game is you look at the Hellborn side, Kronos and Bramble are not going to be super easy to kill, because Kronos' rewind of the time leap plus Bramble's general tankiness is not going to, those aren't going to be great targets for Parasite. Torture is certainly going to be a great target for Parasite, but not so much the rest of that. Hellborn side, which is Kronos, Torture, and Bramble, of course. Haven't talked about them yet. Bramble, we've actually been seeing more of, and I'm not really sure I get it. He's a decent enough hero. Spore Breath is a nice ability, but the Ensnaring Shrubbery and Combat Vigor, they're decent abilities. I don't know if they're the greatest. I'm not completely convinced that they're worth it for competitive play. We've seen the Suicide Bramble that did pretty well. We saw the Mid Bramble that didn't do so well. And I don't really feel like he's an initiator type. He's just sort of a tank, and he doesn't do that much damage. So I think without, there was this tank metagame months and months ago where basically everybody just picked really tanky heroes. And they're like, well, you can't kill us now because we're too tanky. We're like actually too tanky. Since then, we've seen some nerfs to Helm of the Black Legion, and there's been some more offensive heroes introduced into the game, and tanks just aren't as effective. So presumably Bramble is going to be trying to be in those front lines and taking people out, but I wonder exactly how effective that's going to be. Now, to be fair, this Legion side does not have that much sustained damage. Parasite and Grinix both don't do a ton of, I'm going to keep right-clicking you and you're going to take a lot of damage as burst. So if Bramble can survive that burst, and he certainly can very much a lot of the time, he might be able to evade those situations. So in that sense, not a huge deal. Bans here are Dr. Repulsor, Aluna, Wretched Hag, Pyromancer, Corrupted Disciple, and Glacius, as the Hellborn side banning out the Glacius. One more support for the pile, as well as Pyromancer. Of course, with the Legion side needing a support. Plenty of them are banned out at this point now, really. Like 5, 6 of them are. So 6, yeah, Aluna's also banned out. So going heavy on the support bans here. Silver, I assume, is going to be run as a farmer. There's still a few left. Witchlayer, Empath, Nymphora, Andromeda, one of them. So plenty of strong options there. Tempest and Ophelia are still available. So is Keeper. So some very interesting bans and picks coming out here, as usually you'd think, oh, I got a Parasite, let's ban the crap out of these junglers. Instead, choosing to ban out of the short laners, which is strange because Hellborn can now pick up a Suicide like Bubbles and run Kronos in the short lane. So I wonder if TZP thinks that DNKE is so committed to the idea of a Suicide Kronos that they're not going to do that, and then Dragon's still left, so as we've been seeing more of him lately as well. So certainly too many short laners left. Gemini was still available, Sandwraith was still available, that they definitely weren't locked into the idea of a Suicide Kronos in the first place, and even if they were, they could do something like that, pick up a Draconis, and like all of a sudden, hey, all those bans on short laners not so effective, so a little interesting.
Let's get it
on. But hey, I mean, to be honest, I'm sitting here looking at both teams. I'm not a huge fan of either draft. I think the Legion side doesn't have a lot of right-click damage. They've got Pestilence and they got Slither that'll do a bit, but neither of those heroes are really right-click carries. They don't do that. We're going to sit in a team fight and wreck you. In fact, the team fight on the Legion side is a little lacking. There's Burst, or there's a Poison Burst, excuse me. But that's pretty much it. Andra's got single target abilities. The Aurora, the Command Aurora, will help a lot in that, but that's more just right-click damage for a team that's not really a right-click team. Pestilence's Impale will hit some heroes. Grinix can be a little annoying in team fights with his ult, but he still doesn't do that much damage. And for the most part, this is a Legion side that's not going to do too much right-click. They are going to do pretty well in the ganking phase. They're not going to push too hard, and there isn't a lot of carry here. So they're going to have to win this game in like 25 minutes because that's when all their heroes are going to be the most powerful. It's looking for engagement up here. And I think both teams have somewhat spotted each other out. Presti digging through the trees a little bit. Puts the Rev Ward down and does Andromeda, and that's going to block this camp. So, not a huge fan of that. Hellborn's side I think I like a little bit more, but there's questions there. Pearl, of course, one of the last picks, on top of that dragon. So Pearl, Draconis, and Bramble here. Heroes we almost never see. And that's not to say at all that this means that Hellborn has a bad draft, because we've seen weird stuff before and it works extremely well. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Bramble. I'm not the biggest fan of Pearl either, but she is a very, very, very powerful hero if you have a good Pearl player, as Slither down here are going to get hit a little bit by Kronos. And we've seen this matchup before, actually, Kronos versus Slither, and we've seen Kronos wreck this engagement, like get multiple kills on Slither in lane by himself. And it was just brutal. Like, I don't remember what game it was, but again, goldfish memory, I never remember this crap. But it was ugly. Up here top, Torturer and Andromeda are going to go at it a little bit. Parasite's in the jungle here. We'll take a Comet Sun, actually, and Torturer's in some trouble. Looking for the chain reactions, finds it, but Parasite pops out. Dragon coming in with the pushback, and that's going to save Torturer. Pearl coming in here now with the bubble. And this is starting to look like a tri-lane up here by the Hellborn. Mid, actually, Grenix is going to go mid. We're seeing the aggressive pseudo tri-lane here with Pestilence and Andromeda, and of course there's Slither still a bot with the Suicide Chronos. So Suicide Chronos, not that surprising. Bramble mid, not that surprising. The tri-lane's a little interesting, although I guess Bramble doesn't really need to be dual lanes, so that's probably where this is coming from. And the tri-lane here up here for the Hellborn is going to win, just because, you know, with Parasite in the jungle, in the Hellborn jungle as the aggressor, he's over here from this camp. I think there's going to be a little too much from the Hellborn. Like, if this was a dual lane, then the Parasite pseudo tri-lane would win up here, but there's too much defensive ability with the chain reactions, the Pearl, and the Dragon Flame here to get too much in terms of kills. Now, there are a couple of stuns, potentially 3 if we get a Minotaur from Parasite, but not feeling Legion's tri-lane here. And like I said, I feel like they have a bit of a timing window just because their heroes are not going to scale very well. And then, of course, you look at the Hellborn side, Dragon Kronos. Like, that's all you need. And you realize, holy crap, there's the right clicks. Parasite going to get forced out of the jungle here. And the supports will take a bit of his farm. So this is probably where most of the action is going to be. Meanwhile, Andro actually rotating middle. Perhaps looking for a kill on Bramble, but they're not going to find one. I mean, dude's just too tanky. 740 health right now. He gets delivered a bottle. And he sees the Andro come in from the side looking for something, but it's, yeah, you're just not going to kill him. You're going to need to bring somebody else, at least Pesty, probably Parasite too. You know, that would give you 3 stuns, and maybe you'd have enough damage there to lock him down, but I'm not, even then I'm not entirely sure. So, as I was saying, you know, I mean, I'm not. I'd like to see how this Pearl does. I can't comment on it, like, because we've never seen Pearl really. I've played Pearl. I've played with Pearls. I'm not a huge fan there. Bubble going out and chain reactions onto Pearl, and she's in some trouble. Nice impale from Pestilence. Hits everybody, but she's gonna die still here. Just a little bit too much with the auto attacks, and plenty of damage. Bottom lane, meanwhile, we have Kronos and Slither going up ahead. 14-2 on Slither compared to 10-3 on Kronos. So he's doing fine, not doing the best, but doing fine. Gonna get a few CS here as Slither's backing off the lane a little bit. Most importantly, when he hits 6, if Slither continues to be around this health, he's gonna die. That's just what's gonna happen. Perhaps even now, like if Kronos gets boots soon, and he has 558 gold. So there currently does not have boots. He has 600 gold. So yeah, go buy boots right now, and he can kill the Slither. As long as he times the time lock so he gets the jump. So if he is able to put a couple more auto attacks down, actually now with the health pot, maybe not. Yeah, see, now this is where he's like, yeah, Kronos is like, yeah, guess what, I got boots, buddy. There's the time lock, and we'll see if he's actually able to walk Slither down here, and I think he will. Nope, not quite. But now Slither's going to be forced to start eating trees. Kronos still has a timely available relatively soon. 80 mana, and it costs 120, so it'll be maybe 30 seconds or so before he has that available, but once he does, could be another kill. Poison Spray going out again, and now Kronos is going to take a fair bit of damage, but certainly not going to kill him. And he does not have any regen himself, but once Time Leap is available, that's going to be a death up there. Up top, meanwhile, everything going off as they're looking for a kill onto this Hellborn side. Chain Reaction's not going to hit. So Parasite coming in here, Grinix, excuse me, looking for a gank, but it's not going to happen. Parasite's still in the jungle, pretty much just farming, as for some reason he's killing a Minotaur here. And now Kronos is in some trouble. So there's here. Where's the Poison Spray? No Poison Spray. He is level 6. He has a Time Leap. No ultimate, though. So he has a Tree Eater gonna try to regen up a little bit and perhaps grab a kill. I fully expect him to kill this Slither. That's just the assumption I'm sitting on, that he's gonna kill the Slither, because he nearly did it before. He backed off a little bit. Perhaps figuring a Poison Spray was coming back up soon, and it certainly was. Bramble coming in here from the side. Now Slither's dead. There's the jump from Kronos and the Time Leap. So they're now looking to jump into the woods, realizing, oh shit, Bramble's here too. There's the wall, though, and this is dead Slither. So Slaskid Wraith on that Bramble will pick up the final kill. So nice gank from him. And now Kronos has effectively destroyed this lane. And he will sip this bottle a few times. Get all his health and mana back. And he actually left one there. He probably should have taken the last one. Because Bramble's just going to refresh here. I mean, he didn't really need that. Now, he's got the Time Leap, he's got the ulti, so I don't think he has enough for both. No. He'd need more or less full mana. So if he had taken that last sip, he would have had both, I think, but not quite enough in this situation, as now he's level 7, so there's level 5, and now, yeah, he's dropped the Poison Spray, so there's in a ton of trouble here once again. I'm just eating through. Nothing available. He has a Time Leap up, enough mana for it in 2 seconds. Meanwhile, Slaskid right in the middle, going to fall to a bunch of ganks here. 4 heroes coming in as the entire tri-lane up on top comes. And yeah, Slither needs to back the hell out, because Kronos is going to look for a Time Leap here, I assume, once he has the correct time lock up on the auto attack. So one more on. There it is. And now he's dead. Been waiting for that. Over here, Andro, looking to protect her buddy and Pesty in mid a little bit, but gonna get find out, pushed right into the tower, and now she's dead. So, found out. Nice Pearl push right there. What is that even called? Whirl Bubble and the Asphyxiate. I'm gonna have to remember that crap. Preservation. I don't know. I never play Pearl. I'm terrible with Pearl. Grinix coming in looking for some engagement here in Dragon, but not really going to find much. Like, he's doing way too well up here to fall to that. Actually not even doing all that well. 285 GPM. So looking at the farm here, it's pretty ugly. Like, Grinix up at 330, but Pesty's at 315. Everybody on the Hellborn side is at 270 on all the farmer rolls. So, I'm a little curious. Illusion Rune up here, not going to be picked up. They had vision of this war, but Grinix is going to grab it. And he's going to come in here so they know exactly what's happening. They will back off, so good vision there. Meanwhile, on bot, Kronos once again jumping this Slither, puts the Chrono Field down. And this is going to be a dead Slither once again. No! Oh my god, he got the health pot. Jukes. Huge jukes. Up top, Grinix in a little bit of trouble, but of course has the Rich Dock. There is a word of Rev down now. Pestilence coming in here. He will get the kill on Grynex, but there's an Impel Stun onto Draconos. Will this be enough? No. Here comes Spore Breath on. Nice wall there, and this is going to be dead Pesty.
Sit down, son. Tasty.
Parasite coming in here looking for a kill, and this is going to be a kill onto Kronos. There's the Poison Spray on top of it, plus the Andro thing, and that's going to be way too much damage. Toxic, there it is. So good gank there, finally getting Kronos, as he was getting a little too big for his britches. And Hellborn taking a pretty good lead here, 1,500 gold in experience. So Siller down here at 250 GPM. Bit of an issue as Kronos is at 230 himself even after that gank. Not really what you're looking for from your short laner. But just like I said, everybody in this game really. Dragon's starting to pick things up at the 350. But you look at the Hellborn team, 350, 280, 221. Like, that's not a lot. Lasker, meanwhile, in the Middle East, is going to fall as he gets just stunned to all hell. And that's, the issue with Bramble is he's tanky. Tanky buddy. No escape mechanism. No stun, really, that he can actually put on while he's running away. Poison Spray going out there onto Kronos. Will just jump onto this Siller and then decide, nope, not really worth it. Will eat some toxicities, but he's pretty tanky with that rewind. As at level 3 now. Man, once again, missing all sorts of stuff as I focus on the spot lane, as Torture is going to die here to the Riftstalker. The Grynex with the Riftstalk. I just keep looking at this because I'm thinking, man, Kronos is going to be killing stuff up here. Pearl up here by herself against Pestilence. But should be relatively okay. Between the Whirl Bubble and the Asphyxiate, she can really prevent people from chasing her very effectively. On bot, we have a couple engagement here. Nice wall going on top of the Bramble, as actually the Spore Breath will do a lot. There's death, and Andro going to fall as well. Slaskid picks up a double tap, in fact. Grynex with the port in, and Parasite's still here. Kronos needs to be a little careful. There's a Shadow Step, one actually stunned. And now Grynex is looking for the chase still, but takes the Spore Breath stun. Try and leap on Kronos. He's going to run away. Face Hug and Leech is available, so Bramble's in some health here. They're in some trouble here. He's going to die. There's the Leech once again. And Bramble here not having the greatest game in the world. 260 GPM thanks to 3-3 and 1. So he's got a couple of kills, but most of them have been with help, and he's actually gotten the last hit. And he's also died 3 times, which is a lot. Out of the 5 deaths on his team, he's got 3. And considering he's supposed to be a tank, it's not the best thing in the world. Grynex still here, pretty easily the top farmer on his team at 330 gold per minute. Dragon's finally starting to take off at 400. I should mention, that the last time we saw a Suicide Kronos really not work very well, as Spore Breath coming in here, going to be a lot of trouble for us. So there's the stun and the Asphyxiate. Is the Whirl Bubble going to come out? Yes, we'll push him into the tower. Poison Burst comes out actually, and he's too tanky here. Preservation is available, but it's not going to be enough, as there goes Bramble. Slitter's still going to survive now. Pearl in a ton of trouble as the entire Legion team basically converges and kills her. So a little too much diving there, and Slither was tanky with those Steam Boots and Ring of the Teacher, man. A little too much health and just not enough damage, because, Bramble doesn't hit very hard. That's not really his thing. Mid tower here getting pressured, will go down, no question.
The Legion had destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Similar pushes going on bot by Kronos, but of course this tower's kind of a lot more health, as he'll just run into the woods here, perhaps looking for a pick. Wondered who it would be. And Slither's going to find him. He's just going to pour it out here. In the middle, meanwhile, Torture going to die. There's the bugs on top of him, and he's just screwed. Shadow Step. Impel Stun actually missed, but he doesn't care. His garden's in bloom, but who cares? So Kronos going to pour it out, not deciding it's worth it to try to take that. Dragon's still free farming up top. This tower's reasonably low, enough to the point that this push will get it down quite a bit more, but won't actually result in a kill, actually, unless Pesty comes in here, in which case that's nice. Gets stunned out by the Dragon Flame, won't put the Impale down. So, gold lead now in favor of Legion as they've evened this hero kill score up, getting 3 kills in a row. And the experience just barely in their favor as well. Dragon going to take triple stack Ancients here. That'll get him a lot of money. Should boost him up to the 450 or so GPM mark. So Blazing Flight goes down, doing a lot of damage with those abilities. And like I said, it's the 450 or so mark. 453. Bramble looking for something, anything up here. 217 gold per minute. Not happy fun times for him. Kronos is actually 270, so he's recovering fairly well. I was saying earlier that really the one time we saw Suicide Kronos not work well at all was when he was on the same team as a Salomon. And basically what happened was Salomon just ate all the farm. And Kronos was never able to get anything because Salomon just, that's what he does. He takes all the farm up top here, illusions, so nothing going to happen going down. As the entire Hellborn team, in fact, is bottom looking towards this tower, and Slew's the only one here, so he cannot show himself, of course, because he'll get wrecked. Anyway, so I sort of wonder if we're going to have a similar situation here with Dragon, whether he's just going to take all the farm and perhaps actually does show himself, and what are you doing? So their Poison Burst hits a bunch, but there's the wall, and a lot of TPs coming in here. Puts the Whirl Bubble there, but Torture going to fall right off the bat as nice Impel Stun hits a whole bunch. Parasite looking for a kill on will find it. Chronos Field finally going out, but we'll see if this actually does anything. Finally does get a kill on the Parasite. That's nice. Bramble off to the side looking for a finish on Grinix. Won't quite find. Yes, he does actually get it. So now we're at 3 versus 3, and nice knockback there. So Pestilence, actually, Slaskadrit does fall to the toxic stuff of Slither. So that's 3 for 2 there in favor of the Legion side. They also do save the tower here. Apparently there's leprechauns. And certainly a one fight there for the Legion. Defending the tower, getting more kills than they gave up. And it's interesting, the Chrono Field was really, really light, and I don't think it was very well placed. It didn't let anybody else hit people from outside it, particularly Draconis. He needs to be outside that bubble in order to do a bunch of damage, and he probably could have picked up another couple of kills if they had placed that a little bit better. Pestilence was, in particular, not very high. As we see, there's the Parasite there on this Dragon, and there's the Sun as well, so he's gonna die. Has no Sun, doesn't matter. So it stops some of the stuff from Parasite. Shadow Step there in onto Pearl, and now he's dead as well, trying to put everybody away and save himself, but it's just not going to happen. There's an entire Legion team up here, and so they're going to get a double tap. Bot tower is finished off by Kronos, but that's going to be responded to with a top tower kill from the Legion side, almost certainly, as the creeps come in to push it. And no doubt this is the timing here for the Legion side. Mid tower going to get pressured a little bit. Look at the levels right here. You know, pretty much everybody's hitting 11 right now. They're going to have their level 2 ultimates. Between about right now and just after they get their level 3 ults, I think this is about where the Legion side is going to be the most powerful. Grinix coming in here looking for a kill onto Torture. Will find it. There's a Shadow Step. Lots of ports coming up. Impel Stun there, plus the Portal Key on top of Torture, and he's just going to die, absolutely. Wall goes down from Bramble, stopping Grinix actually, and so he's going on a bit of an adventure here. Will try to pour it out, and Parasite won't find him. So nice port there. On bot, meanwhile, Kronos will pop the Energizer, still looking for something. Shadow Step coming in, it's going to stun him, and now he's in some trouble. Has a time leap and a Chrono Field available. And no port, so he's actually going to jump down to the boat here. No? Probably should just jump down to the boat. Nope, not going to do that. Now he's dead. So yeah, all of a sudden it's a massacre as the Legion side are up 15 to 10. They're up 4k gold and 2.6k experience because, like I said, this is their window. Um, between these level 2 and level 3 ultimates, they're going to be substantially more powerful than the Hellborn team because Kronos is still at 300 gold per minute. Dragon's at 440, which is quite strong, but you know he's still sitting on just a nullstone, and I think he's got to have something else.
The Hellborn destroyed a Legion tower.
Yeah, Mighty Blade. So he's going for a shrunken head here, no question, as top tower is going to fall. Will get denied. Pearl back here, along with Torture, waiting for the jump, perhaps, onto Dragon. And most of the Hellborn team is up here, but we'll see. Not going to actually do anything about it. Mostly just protecting that Draconis. So all of the Legion's Tier 1 towers are dead, and the only one remaining for the Hellborn is his bot one, which is still a pretty high life, but wouldn't take that long for the Legion to kill if they group up and push. And I think at this point, Hellborn need to survive. They need to play defensive. You know, I don't know what you're doing there, Bramble, stacking that camp. Not very effective. That is a lot of Vagabonds. That's really funny. That's the most Vagabonds I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, I'm missing an assassin? No, he's in there somewhere. Yeah, he's on the wrong side. You're at the wrong side, little Vagabond assassin. So Dragon will have fun with that. You know, go down here, Dragon. It's funnier. Pearl gonna get slain in the mid by Brynix, who actually will also spot out Draconis, but with the Nullstone up, Shadow Step's not gonna be very effective. Instead, he just cleans up his camp. And the Hellborn are chased out of their own jungle by the Legion gang squad. Let's see. Somebody find the Vagabond camp and kill it. It's so funny. He sees the stack. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with that. Time leap there, as Kronos will find Slither here. Yes. Where's the time lock? There it is. Immediately stunned, and now Slither's just dead. Trapped in the corner here. Spore Breath is also on him, and he's going to put as much damage as he can. Dies here. Torture actually, meanwhile, falls to Parasite. Just, yeah, there goes the combo, and he's dead. So 1-for-1 exchange there, certainly in favor of the Hellborn as they pick up Slither and lose Torture. Now both heroes going to pour it out here. Shadow Step onto Bramble, and now he's dead. So this is going to be in favor of the Legion, as there goes the wall too. And that ends up being certainly a trade in favor of Legion side, as once again this is their time. And this is going to be a bot tower push. No Slither, of course, but two heroes, not just one hero dead on the Hellborn, as Torture has respawned, but should be a relatively easy tower kill. Hellborn going to be running around here like they want to defend. Kronos does have an ultimate up, but the glyph goes off and just not enough support in time.
The Legion had destroyed a Hellborn tower.
So there that is. And perhaps going to continue the push here. So they're still not here. And I would think at some point the Hellborn has to respond to this. Like, they can't just let them keep taking towers, and Legion will back off before that happens. Lots of wards in the Hellborn jungle too, for that matter, both defensively and offensively. The Legion jungle has none, just one lane ward here to see that entrance. As Legion has pretty much focused their efforts on trying to gank the crap out of Hellborn, and that's exactly what they should be doing. So certainly the correct decision there, both Brynix and Parasite, of course. Strong gank heroes, so if you see, you know, somebody in the jungle alone, or even with one other person, you might be able to pull off a couple of kills. And that's how they're going to win this game, is they've got to keep just smacking down this Kronos and Draconis, and let Slither, you know, become more powerful than them, which is going to be very difficult, because Dragon is now at 500 gold per minute, and Slither has 340, and even Kronos is at 315, so it's going to be not easy as Parasite gets chased off by Kronos. Pearl, what you doing here? Gonna take the Comet Stun? And there's the Impale. Nice push away on Bubbles, and Jandro immediately dies. Flight active on Pestilence, so he'll be alright. But a bunch of Hellborn heroes. Shrunken Head is used by Draconis. And they're looking for some more. Dust of Revelation goes down, but Parasite gonna find himself. Nice chain reactions. And he will die. Excellent notice of where exactly he was there. Secondary tower here is going to get killed as Kronos is tanking it for some reason. Shrunken Head picked up on Grinix. And this is a relatively easy bot tower kill.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
So well done to Hellborn there, picking off a couple of kills and grabbing a secondary tower, the first secondary tower death of the game, as mid's getting pushed a little bit by the creeps, but obviously nothing huge. And they put a ward of their own in their opponent's jungle. As Kronos is now killing a camp here. Grinix is hasted? No. Shadow Steps comes in, looking for a kill here. Probably won't find it. Time leap away, actually. He's pretty damn fast. And Kronos needs to get the hell out of here. Shadow Step's available soon. There's the Energizer. Bugs go on him as well. Shadow Step in the back won't actually stun. Nice Chronofill gets dropped, and this is going to be preventing pretty much anything from happening. So, strongly defensive Chronofield there, but one that saves his life, no doubt. So, a good use of that cooldown. Vision up top, going to be bottled by Ramble. Mid, and Pearl gets wrecked. Just found by Slytherin Pestilence. Of course, Pesty with that portal key, he's had it for some time now, but having that item means he's extremely dangerous to both of these supports because it's all of a sudden you get Pesty, and you got Bugs on you, you got the Impale Stone, and you're like dead in a matter of a couple of seconds. Very possibly before you can even do anything if you get some lucky Gore procs. Picks up a Haste Rune on bot. But they saw that because there's a ward here. Kronos just hanging out by these Ancients. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but hey. Look at the overall gold spread. Relatively even here. Slightly in favor of the Legion side as there's a staff on Slither actually, so let's get into items in a second. But he is up to 375 GPM. That's the highest farm on this Legion side, so opening up some space for him, letting him have some farm, and he's now starting to take off a little bit. Dragon, of course, way ahead of everybody at 550, but the rest of his team not doing super well. Kronos is at 300. Bramble all the way down there, 236, and then, of course, both the supports are on the 130, 140 GPM mark. Legion side's a little more spread out. Everybody's at 280 plus, with, of course, Grinix and Slither being the only ones above 350. So this is basically going to be a question of, is Dragon going to get big enough to kill the entire opposing team? And I think relatively soon, yes, that's what's going to happen, because with a good Chronofield too, he's going to have so much lockdown from this Legion side, and the preservation is going to help him out a lot in terms of his survivability, and he's going to be able to sit there and dish out a ton of damage. And I sort of wonder if this Legion side that isn't particularly tanky is going to be able to stand up to him. You know, nobody's over 2,000 health here. Of course, nobody is on the Hellborn side either, but 1623 on Slither is the highest on the Legion side. There was nobody else over 1,400, in fact. And it's not like there's a bunch of obvious tanks here. Pestilence is the only strength hero. Up here, Kronos can get found. Bugs go on him. Nice disjoint to the side of Shadow Step, and he will get away with the time leap and the Energizer. So Slither looking for another pick, but the jungle is actually, in fact, all cleared out. I missed the kill on all the Vagabonds. No. This is the Rift Stock, looking for something, will find Torture, and this is dead Torture. Comic Sun not even necessary.
Someone likes to get spanked.
Apparently Torture is a little kinky. Kong over here getting scattered up by the Legion side. They don't actually want to take it. They just want to make sure that the Hellborn aren't doing anything with it, as pretty much their entire team is just running around over here. Of course, Kronos at the bottom, continuing to take some farm. So, farm relatively even in terms of teams. Poison Burst going out of a fake, and then a bunch of stuff actually onto a fake as Parasite's in this cannon, and the entire Legion side, as well as the Hellborn side, is grouped up here in the middle. Legion scouting out the woods, looking for a pick, farming up some resources, but actually get a free tower kill up here as the creeps push it in. Hellborn looking for an engagement here, will scout some people out with a Bramble Illusion. And perhaps looking to go on a Parasite here now. Spore Breath plus a wall going to come out. He's looking for the Infest, won't find it. Nice knockback there. Actually, nice swap from Andro as Torturer dies in the background. And we'll see the Chrono Field going off, so there's going to be a bunch as, oh man, Andro just gets wrecked there. Big Golden Dragon flying around, killing everything. So there's Pestilence falls as well, but so do both the supports, and Grinix and its die. Kronos here going to chase down Slither and will get a kill there, so that ends up being a 4 for 2 as both the supports on the Hellborn side die. Pestilence actually bought back. Certainly a 1 fight for the Hellborn. A really, really favorable fight. They lose their supports, so they don't care about that much. They get a ton of kills on their carries, and Hellborn lose everything. Parasite going to get caught out here. There's a Spore Breath. Won't actually stun him. Are they going to continue to chase this? Yeah, there's an Energizer. Leech and everything dropped to the Chrono, but there's a time lock. We'll see if he can get away. Ports are coming in. Hell, File actually picks off this Andro. But both Bramble and Kronos are in some trouble here. Bramble's a little tanky, not tanky enough. And now Kronos going after this Grinix will jump away. But Flight's still active on Pesty. No bugs on Kronos, so they don't have vision, but they will now. There's the ult, and there's a Shadow Step as well, and Kronos is dead. So a little too much chasing there from the Hellborn side, and a couple more heroes get picked off on their end. But they do also kill the Andro, and that ended up being, I still think, in favor of the Hellborn side, as Draconis lived through everything and got a couple of kills. But certainly not quite as good as it was initially, although they did use a bunch of buybacks here on Legion's side. Also their and Grinix bought out on top of that Pestilence. Now Conquer to be attempted. Only one word here from the Hellborn side, so they probably don't know what's going on. Pesty porting to the side, grabbing a health pot. And now Hellborn will know this is going on as his Torturer is running around here. And this is suspicious. Andro here as well, they're going to see her. And she's going to take the Impel stun, but Pesty going to jump in here and easy kill onto Andro. Poison Spray won't actually hit, but the Kongor kill is going to happen. Grinix pick up the token? No. Yeah, he did. Interesting decision there. Perhaps just because he was a little too far away, they didn't want it to, Kronos to jump in there and steal it. So, good change for the Legion side there. They lose the Andro, but they do kill the Kongor, certainly favorable, I think. As that gives them some gold, and of course having the token on Grinix is better than having an Andromeda at this point, just because she's a nice hero, but I don't think they'd take her living over Kronos, or Grinix living. Ancient's going to be stolen here by Hellborn side. And now we're hitting the 35-minute marker, so I'm a little concerned. That last team fight was won pretty substantially by the Hellborn side. And Dragon in the middle of those fights just pops that goldenness, and all of a sudden, he can't really be killed. There's so much magic damage here. And pretty much all the lockdown, except for Pestilence and stuff, is physical, so not enough. Pesty gonna jump over here on the side onto Dragon, has the Null Stone, of course, will die right off the bat. Way too much burst damage. Pearl shows on the Pearl, and the Chrono Field gonna kill Andro very quickly. very well done here, but to get all of them. Poison Burst going off, hitting everything, but man, Parasite dies super fast. And actually, Torture going to fall off the bat here. Let's see if Pearl can, yep, kills that Pestilence. Pearl also dies for that, though. Chrono's still in the middle of the fight, looking to chase down that. So there will happen thanks to the Spore Breath stun going down. And now Chronos is in a little bit of trouble, but the creeps are actually blocking him quite a lot. Nice Shadow Step. And Brunix still has that token, of course. Looking to finish off this Bramble. So that's right now a 4-for-4 exchange. And will not get the stun off. So 4-for-4 exchange in favor of Legion's side, of course, as Bramble and Brunix are the only heroes left alive, but definitely a good trade for Legion as they pick off all the carries on Hellborn. And that's, I mean, that might be what they need to do. They need to pick off that dragon immediately, because if they don't, he'll just get up and be like, I've got a Helm, I've got a Shrunken, I have a Geometer's Bane, I have a Nullstone, I am so farmed. Realize that's an illusion pretty quickly, and apparently her garden is in bloom. I find that really creepy and vaguely sexual. I don't know why. Maybe it's Georgia O'Keeffe's fault. Probably is. We're next going to finish off these creeps here. Interesting that he's taking farm away from Slither. I don't really understand that. He has a 400 GPM, so he's the top farmer on his team. It doesn't feel like, though, he really should be. Like, Slither's a better right-click carry than Grinix is, and he does have Shield Breaker now. That's going to be very helpful. So lots of DMR on this team. Shrunken had picked up a Pesty, so looking at items real fast. We've got Slither with that Staff of the Master, so that Poison Burst is going to be lethal now. Plus Firebrand, Energizer, so he's pretty damn fast. Parasite has Portal Key, Blood Chalice on top of Codex, and I believe that's probably still Codex 1. Nope, it is not available right now because he's in a creep. Annoying bastard. Android's sitting on just pretty much boots as solo support here. Doing all the warding, sucks to be heard. Pestilence has finished up that Shrunken Head on top of his Portal Key, so he's not that tanky, but will be immune to magic damage. Grinix also has a Shrunken and a Shield Breaker, so plenty of physical damage coming out from him. I worry it won't be enough, though, as he's at 250. Oh, is that Shield Breaker? Shield Breaker 3, that's why. Bramble can take a bunch of damage here, but the chain reactions actually do hit. Now Torture falls thanks to the jump in from Pesty. Chronos in some trouble. Puts the Chrono Field down, and Dragon's outside of this, so easy kill onto Pestilence here. Actually swapped out just at the last second, still dies to the wall. Andrew going to fall as well. Preservation coming out here, going to stop all the Poison Burst damage, and there goes Slither as well. Now Parasite looking to live. Token brings Grinix back up, and he will try to run away. He has a dust on him. Are they going to catch him? There's the time leap. Yeah, this is it. He's dead. Shadow Step out. He's trying to live here, but it's not going to happen. Oh god, he has the Rift Stock. Looking to go back. He has 30 health. No port. What are they going to do? Energizer Pop, they're just going to leave. That's shocking. I cannot believe he lived. Dust wore off just in time. Parasite, meanwhile, going to make his way back pod. He has relatively high health, but not quite able to die there. Oh my god, he's going to get seen again. No, he's not. Rift Stock is just long enough. Is he looking for a pick on Chronos here? Yeah, he is. No! No! Why? Why? Why would you do that? Some anger here. I don't know why he's angry about that. Like, come on. Like, that was not engagement he should have taken. He was lucky to get out of that with 35 health. There's no... you're not good enough to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get through this engagement with exactly 35 health and I'll be fine, so I can do this. No, like you were lucky to have lived, and then you chose to put all sorts of stuff on a Kronos when you have no health, and thinking for some reason that you're gonna survive that. So I don't understand what that play was, and I understand why you'd be mad that you died there, because you're like, you should not expect to live. Spore Breath is gonna go out on top of still there, so he will get stunned. The wall is there as well, but Pestilence coming in with the stun. Puts the Shrunken Head down, and his man Torture just gets destroyed by Parasite, who will take over the Ballista and run away. Legion team on full retreat now as the Golden Dragon is chasing them down, and they will get away with the pick. Eye is now on both heroes, actually. Pestilence and Bramble both have one. A little more appropriate for the Hellborn side, as I guess they must have stolen that from somebody, but I don't know. Shepa here on this Kronos has a Geo's Thane, so going to do very well for his team fight. Bramble sitting on Helm and Barrier Idol plus his Eye, of course, going to help him chase down that Crinix. Kronos has that Abyssal Skull plus a Geometer's Bane, so certainly going to help keep him alive in fights with the Lifesteal. And when he's in that Chrono Field, he'll be able to do a lot more damage to the illusions. Dragon now has 5k gold, so I assume the Symbol of Rage is the next item. He just wants to make sure that he can do that and buy back, or he's going to take the symbol. So there's the symbol for him. And now he's going to be very, very difficult to kill. He might be impossible to kill. With the symbol, the Nullstone, the Shuriken, and the Geometer's Bane, even all the bursts they have on the Legion side, I don't think it's going to be enough to kill him immediately. Then he just pops the symbol, the ult, and the goldenness, and all of a sudden he'll get all his health back. It's basically going to have to be a manner of him being locked down for his entire health, but with the new axe that the symbol brings him, not sure it's even going to happen. He's got 2,700 health. I'm not convinced that the Legion side has enough burst damage to kill him. I really don't think they do. And if they, if he's with Pearl, then that'll help. And now that we're 4 minutes into this game, I just not feeling too good about TZP here. I don't know. Port coming in mid by Dragon, gonna help defend this tower. We'll pick off a bunch of CS in the meantime. Nearly 600 gold per minute now. And Kronos actually not suffering too bad. He's at 330. I posited earlier that maybe Dragon would take all the farm and Kronos wouldn't be able to get anything. But at 330 GPM, he's doing just fine. Of course, realizes that doesn't have to be everything. He doesn't have to take everything because he has that Dragon there as the primary carry. Pretty solid push up top, actually, as Legion has substantial creep wave going. Congore's back up, and the Hellborn knows it. They've been grouping around here. Andrew probably going to throw something out. Make sure it's not being attempted. And I think they clipped Dragon there, but made it clear that the Legion are not killing it, and now Hellborn will back off. But they don't have any vision down here, so if Legions start to fight this, they won't know about it. In fact, I don't think the Hellborn have a single ward up right now. The Legion only have one right here. Those bound eyes, man. Must be doing some pretty heavy dewarding with them. As they're like, what's going on now? They're so intensely getting down here, they're even dragging a creep wave with them. The entire Legion team sitting off here on the side. Chrono's going to be in some trouble, will get destroyed. Oh my god, so many rewinds, but it doesn't matter. Now Dragon's like, what's up, buddies? Puts his ultimate down. Everybody running away on the Legion side. Pestilence will be able to get out. Chronos actually buys back, puts the Chrono Field into nothing except his own ally. Oh my god, that was a terrible Chrono Field. Crinix is going to run off to the side. He will get away. So there's now probably also... Oh, there's a Time Leap plus the Geometer's Bane. And he will get locked down a bit. The question is, will it be enough? Nope, Parasite's here. There's the Poison Burst onto everything. And they know which one's real. Dragon's coming back in for some more. Pearl's looking for something. Puts the bubble onto Parasite. He will die. Crinix actually getting chased down with that eye. Nice swap from Andro. No, not gonna... It will result in her death. Now Grinix is gonna get away.
Real good
So obviously what Andrew's looking for there in the first place in terms of saving her ally, but of course taking the death. Not super happy about that. And now Conqueror's going to be attempted, so... Buyback from Chronos ends up being pretty solid, doesn't pick up a couple of kills. That was probably the worst Chrono field that has ever happened. I mean, it tracked only the Draconis. It prevented his entire team from progressing up that hill to kill Sother, and it didn't catch anybody on the Legion side, so really, really ugly. Dragon will pick up that token. So now he can just sit in the front and be like, what's up, buddies? You can jump me, you use all your stuff, even if I die I'll come right back, and then I will basically destroy your entire team, because there's nothing you can do about it. I don't want to say Dragon's unkillable at this point, but it's got to be pretty damn close. Just because even if they jump him and kill him,
Hellborn destroyed a Legion tower.
like there's the token, and B, he's gonna take so long to die with the Shrunken and the lifesteal if he chooses to fight, or he has the Blazing Plate to get away, and it's not like his teammates won't support him, so, you know, pretty much the second he gets jumped, he's gonna see support coming in, so as long as he can survive for more than 4 or 5 seconds, and he should be able to with the Shrunken, he should be relatively alright. I mean, he's got nearly 3,000 health with the Steed Boots on strength. I find it really difficult to believe this dragon's going to die at this point. Soulsborne work on Pestilence will help with that, as Grenix is looking for a jump onto somebody but won't find it. There's a word to sight there. And Torture is going to be okay. We'll farm out this top wave, which could be, no, won't be death. No, actually it will be death for him. Especially because he took that deny Shadow Step there, and just wow. It's like 3 hits.
Someone likes to get spanked.
Dragon over here, they're looking for a jump. Bramble has the eye, so he's not going to get jumped like Grenix. I'm sort of wondering if they should be using the swap. Comet Stun actually goes onto the illusion. And considering Andrew's low mana pool, that's not a great thing. And so I'm wondering if they should use a swap here to dispel this null stone. I think they sort of have to. The cooldown's not the shortest right now. 55 seconds, so it probably would only be up once, but I think at this point they need all their actual, like, lockdown spells and everything. Bugs could also be used. Much shorter cooldown, but it requires Pest to get pretty close to him. So they're farming the jungle, so is Chronos. Picking a stack up on these Ancients. Grenix up here won't get scouted by anything as he's hiding in the trees. Eye is here, but obviously just don't have vision of him at all. And he's looking for a pick onto somebody, but won't find it. There's too much support here from the Hellborn side. And we'll choose to port out instead. So a bit of a lull here. So, you know, Pearl's playing that second support role. She has a portal key now, so that's actually going to be a pretty big deal, as she's able to push people back into her team instead of just away from her team. Positioning, of course, a pretty big deal with that Pearl, and she's had a pretty solid game. 36 and 11, 162 GPM, but done some good stuff with her ult, and this last outer tower going to be taken by Dragons. He's just like, yeah, I can tank it.
The Hellborn destroyed a Legion tower.
Whole Hellborn side is grouped up here on top lane, looking for a push in. And this, wow. All this Geometer's Pain illusions. Doing so much. Pesty's not quite here. Presumably he's going to jump this big cluster. And as they need to initiate. There it is. Only going to hit Illusions there, and Bramble, actually, as the wall goes down. Shrunken Head up on Grinix, and we're going to see a bunch of damage on Bramble, but these racks are going to go down. Chronofield there onto Grinix, and he's going to die pretty much immediately. Swapped out, in fact, but runs right back into it. Andro going to fall first. Pestilence putting the sun down on Kronos, and he is taking a bunch of damage. Will die here, but Dragon's still up and still attacking very hard. Whirl Bubble up there. Geobane up from Slither, and actually Pearl's now in a ton of trouble. Won't quite fall. But there goes Slither, and we'll see if Dragon's ult is back up. Slither buys back right away, and he's continuing to just be like, whatever, I have a Geometer's Bane. I'm going to continue to attack the crap out of you guys in your own damn well. Racks are obviously dead up there. Now they're going to lock him down pretty effectively. Nullstone gets popped, but of course he still does have that token. No Shrunken Head, though. Has the Symbol of Rage still available. There's a Blazing Flight, but so much stun coming out here, and lots of negative armor, of course. Puts the auto attacks onto everybody. Symbol is popped, so he needs to keep auto attacking here. Does not, though. There's another Impale, and he dies. If he had kept auto attacking there, I think he'd probably been okay. He popped the symbol and stopped right clicking. It's obviously not what you're supposed to do. So, sort of a one fight there from Legion. The issue is they used a bunch of buyback. No, sorry, just one on Slither, but they lost a rack, they lost a tower, and they killed the dragon, but he's back in 45 seconds. I don't think there's too much they can do about this. Kronos is currently alive, as he died relatively early in that fight. And Draken was just well-diving them. Like, he's basically at the point now where he doesn't care. He had no team, it was 3-on-1, and he kept them off for a very long time. DD picked up there by Grinix. We'll see if he opens. He does. Shadow Step there, and Kronos isn't going to die here. We'll take a bunch of damage. So enemies are popped. Time Leap away. Pearl actually is there for some reason, and she needs to get the hell out, yeah. So Grinix has a bash now. I didn't even notice that. So we'll see what Dragon's next item is. I assume it's going to be damage of some sort, perhaps Savage Mace. Maybe a wing bow. Yep, there it is. There's the wing bow. So now he's going to have increased range, of course, going up to 700 range. And now he's really going to be able to sit in the back and not do anything. Not do anything to get caught out. And Hellborn's just like, yeah, we're done. You know, we have a dragon. He has 6 items. Let's just win. Man, he hits hard and fast. Kronos over here taking double stacked Ancients. And his Dragon's just pushing down middle. And this is actually a little bit of a dangerous position for him. He might be able to get caught out here and die. And he is going to back up. Of course, Congo not up for another 5 minutes or so. And like I said, you know, it felt like Legion's side had a window. And in that mid-game a bit, they had a lead, they were doing well, they were winning team fights, but that was their window. They needed to win the game in that window. They needed to continue to keep the pressure up, and they didn't really do that. They actually didn't. They didn't take the most favorable engagements, and you know, it's a 9k gold lead and a 3.4k experience lead, which doesn't seem all that substantial. The problem is there's some pretty just spread farm here on the Legion side, and Hellborn, it's all this Dragon, and it's at the point now where Dragon is just too powerful. Like, either you can go on him, but A, he probably won't die, especially because of his team, and B, if he does die, you're going to use everything you have and take a whole bunch of damage killing him, and the rest of his team's going to clean you up, because Kronos isn't a pushover himself. You can go after his team, but then he's going to kill you. And it doesn't seem like there's enough damage here on the Legion side. It's just all burst, you know, Parasite's burst. Grinix has a little bit of sustained damage thanks to the Shield Breaker. Same thing with Slither, but Pestilence doesn't have that much. He's got a Shrunken. There's no damage items in here. Demonic Breastplate will help a little bit, but it's not, you know, he's an initiator. He's not really about the damage. That just the tower dies in a second. Kronos in the back, waiting for somebody to initiate. Grinix is there. He will get Shadow Stepped on. But actually there's a Sheep Stick there, and that's Grinix is just immediate death. Parasite immediately falls after as well. Golden Dragon in the middle. Will getting it. Actually, the Chronofield hitting everything, and that's an entirely dead Legion team. That's game. So It's a genocide in favor of the Hellborn side, that there's nobody,
Destroyed.
and that's the CC vote.
Defeat.
So,
Hellborn wins.
well played there from DNKE. They knew they had a late game here, and they managed to keep themselves alive in the mid game long enough to get to that late game, and that dragon just got way too powerful, man. So that's pretty much the story of this game, as it has been in several of these games recently, with a more mid-game heavy bursty lineup losing to this hard carry strat. So perhaps we're seeing a re-emergence of the right-click carry of the
Hellborn have destroyed a
get
Legion
one hero
tower.
and put all the farm on him and win game, as that's certainly seemed to be re-emerging here, and it is proving very effective. So DNKE with the win here, going to take this series 2-0. TZP will get knocked down to the losers bracket, as DNKE will move on to the winners match in Group F. And of course, both these teams not quite knocked out of it yet, but TZP's road just got a lot harder, and DNKE is quite a bit easier.
Our Legion barracks has been destroyed.
We'll see what we see from both of these teams in the future. That will do it for this series, and we'll see